So the last time I saw this engine, I did say when we saw it again, it would be completely built back at my house. But little did I know that I was going to come up to Michigan, Troy, Michigan, to Deadhook Motorsports to see Russ, so we could tear down the engine and he can go ahead and build it the way that he does with his high-end reputation. So just how I left it, now we get to unwrap it. Alright, the engine is on an engine hoist or stand, and Russ and I are going to work together on tearing this engine apart, and we have some assumptions on what actually went wrong. Russ is very confident that the cylinder 3 piston melted at a specific high point of how the piston's designed. I think it was rings. We're going to find out in these next couple minutes. Camshafts.
Not that bag at least. Doesn't just sound like it breaks. Right? Worse. It's like when you have to rip off the rear bumper. It sounds like it.
Oh yeah, all those clips, those rear clips.
Those are the worst.
Yeah, they do sound really bad.
Totally the worst. Snap, snap, bang, bang. Oh yeah.
Hi, welcome back. You can see the oil just coming out. I think I already pointed this out. Cam phasers. Russ was giving me the lesson on those. That's a bare block.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard that, but he said my engine's been the smoothest one. So if you notice, Russ is doing all this stuff because I don't know how to do this. And he's done this many times before, so we're learning from the master, so to speak. See? Jedi mind trick master. Now, because there's a bolt inside too, we're going to take that off.
So at this point, with the cam caps, it's super important to do it evenly, because what happens is if you look down here, you have valve springs that are pushing up on the cam. Same thing with right here. It's pushing up on the camshaft. So you have to take these out about a quarter to a half a turn at a time so that it evenly raises the cam and it doesn't want to bend the camshaft one way or another.
That's a very good pro tip. He's got a fancy tool to just do those little turns.
See how watch when I move this? So it'll lift just slightly.
Oh yeah. Just those little millimeters.
Yep. Right there, I can put some load on the bolt.
Until it pops.
It's still got some load on it, but when it pops, it usually breaks free a little bit and rotates. Most of the time it won't pop. Like, I don't think the exhaust cam over here will pop because it's in a position that it seems pretty happy. So, and then The camshaft's already marked. So they're 1, 2, 3, 4 on the intake, and then on the exhaust it's A, B, C, D. And you read them from the exhaust side, right to left.
So, exhaust side over here, right to left, because we're Japanese now. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. I noticed the 2 is facing the other way compared to the other numbers. Does that matter? Or is it just kind of like a zigzag 2? Oh no, it's just my sleepiness.
Yep.
No, that's what it is. Never mind.
And then also a dead giveaway is these little corner edges here. Always face the outside.
So these guys always on the outside.
Yep. The inside are full rounds.
Ooh, I see lifters.
They are.
Or is it the tops of the springs?
Nope, they're mechanical buckets. So there's no hydraulic to them. It's literally just a bucket.
A cap.
Yep.
Okay.
Tap it, valve tap it, bucket.
Neato.
Each one is a different thickness, and that's what sets your valve lash. So it's very important that we put them back in the same exact spot. So we're actually going to mark 16 bags, 1 through 8 exhaust, 1 through 8 intake, and then we're going to put each one in a bag. And then when I build the engine and I put them all back in the same spot, it gives me a better chance of them being correct. I don't assume that Ford did it right the first time, so I still go through and I check every one. But if they did their job, they're gonna be good still, and it can just make my process a lot quicker.
So what Russ is doing is what he had mentioned before. He's going to label each bucket to each little baggie, so that way they can go into the exact same spot. It's got a nifty magnet, which is brilliant as well, to make his life easier.
Yeah, they're hard to grab onto.
We're gonna guess right now what's wrong. Russ, what do you think is wrong with the engine?
It melted through right where the valve pocket's machined into the ringland on the exhaust side for number 3 cylinder. It could be the first or the second valve. Either one's equally as weak right there, but the factory cast pistons are definitely very thin in that area, and they don't take the heat very well.
So he's going with a faulty piston, kind of where he was showing on his new pistons, you know, the upgraded area. I'm gonna shoot for rings just to be counterintuitive, and we're gonna see what's wrong with this engine within what is it, 16 bolts?
Yep. No.
No, 10. 10 bolts, and the head's coming off. As a recap, cylinder 3 lost all compression, down to the point where it was only holding not even 15 psi of compression in that cylinder. And the other 3 were holding 170 strong. So, oh, here it comes. Here it comes.
Oh, right in the center, actually. Interesting.
That is.
Never expected that.
So, where's something to point it out with? Because my finger won't fit in there.
I can turn it to the top, actually.
Okay. I can definitely see where it's melted, but the cylinder wall doesn't look like it's severely damaged, so that's a bonus. So, a slight bore out to fit in the new pistons should be all that it needs. But there's definitely a difference between these pistons and this piston. Just give us a second.
Now pull the gasket off too so you can see it better. Alright, let go.
So we can see right here, it just completely vanished. Solid, gone.
Super interesting. I don't even see a lot of signs of heat or stress or anything.
Just gonna blame it on the stock pistons. What does the bottom of the head look like? Is there any damage that we potentially see? Looks pretty good to me, other than a oily mess. And that was on the intake side or the exhaust side?
Maybe the exhaust side.
On the exhaust side, so the smaller ones here. But no, that looks really good to me. Number 3 right there. Looks really good to me. So it's definitely not a head issue.
I'll know more when I take the piston out.
Okay.
But looking at it, you know, usually if you have bad detonation, what happens is the piston rocks violently both directions, and then you get wear on the anti-thrust and the thrust side.
Okay.
The one side looks perfectly clean, whereas this side you can see some wear. Now this is a normal looking cylinder, and you can see
A little bit of wear.
a little bit of wear, and that's perfectly normal. And then on the other side, it's perfectly clean. Whereas this one, perfectly clean. And then you can see the damage over here. So that's going to tell me that it was a heat thing. If it's not a detonation thing, it's a heat thing. So we could have had a failed injector, which is what we kind of maybe talked about on the phone.
Yep.
Or just some other, you know, it could have been a faulty piston, but, you know, it's one of those things where why does a piston just break, you know, 20,000 miles down the road or whatever? Some dirt.
That's never good.
Well, it's anytime we pick the head up, it always falls off. There's always chunks of dirt on it. So, but you can definitely see when it broke. We'll get that thing out later and
That's awesome.
see it some more.
I'm very happy though that the block is still compatible and in working condition though, where I'm not gonna have to worry about replacing a block. So, I guess we were both wrong, but Russ was more right with it being a piston issue. I mean, if the ring is gone, then I guess we're both right. But
And it could be a ring line issue. You only know that when you slide it out. The whole bottom of the piston could be fractured.
yep, and
Yeah.
it's a late day, late night.
Very.
I'm exhausted. We'll do the bottom half and pull the pistons out to analyze the cylinder bore, the piston itself a little bit later tomorrow. But at least now we know sort of what the culprit was to my engine going kabooey. Yay. Good job, Russ.